السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Welcome back, dear brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, today inshallah we're going to do class number 26 from Medina Book 2. I hope inshallah it's going to be a useful lesson and you're going to have some blast learning this lesson. We'll be learning more about مضارع. So before we go, we're going to revise our pronouns, which is huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. This is the 14 pronoun sequence, and we're going to follow all the madi and mudari files according to this sequence. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So going forward, inshallah, so we're going to do a fa'al, darasa. Darasa means he studied. In the past tense, he studied. So darasa, darasu, darasat, darasata, darasna, darasta, darastuma, darastum, darasti, darastuma, darastunna, darastu, darasna. So he studied, they both studied, they all studied. Wow represents whom? She studied, they both females studied, all those women studied. You studied, male, darastuma, you both male studied, darastum, all of you male studied, darasti, female studied, darastuma, female, two females studied, darastunna, all of you females, you studied, darastu, I studied, and darasna, we studied. So how do we do mudari'? Darasa is bab nasara. So darasa yadrusu, nasara yansuru. So yadrusu, he studies. So it is a present tense. So he's not finished the action. So he's still doing the action. So yadrusani, they both studies. Yadrusuna, tadrusu, she studies. Tadrusani, both of those female studies. And yadrusna, hunna, yadrusna, all of those women, they study. Tadrusu, you study. Tadrusani, you both study. Tadrusuna, you all study. Tadrusina, you study. Tadrusani, you both female study. Tadrusna, all of you female, you study or you're studying. Adrusu, I study. Nadrusu, we study. So let's see what else. We're going to another example. So we'll do sakana. Sakana means he lived. So sakana, sakana, sakanu, sakanat, sakanata, sakanna, sakanta, sakantuma, sakantum, sakanti, sakantuma, sakantunna, sakantu, sakanna. Sakana is bab nasara again. Sakana yaskunu. Yaskunu, yaskunani, yaskununa, they all living. Wow represents whom? Taskunu, she lives. Taskunani, they both female lives. Yaskunna. Yaskunna is all those women, they live. Taskunu, taskunani, taskununa, taskununa. Wow represents antum here. So the wow represents different situations. Taskunina, you female, you live. Taskunani, taskunna. Taskunna is all of you female in front of you. You study, you live, right? Askunu, I live, and naskunu, we live. So these are the two files. So we're just going to do some practice. So if you just say quickly 5 in your pocket, so it'll be yaskunu, taskunu, taskunu, askunu, naskunu. So what is the significance here? Here the fa'il is mustatir, that means it is not attached to the fa'il. The fa'il ends at noon, that is a part of the, that's a lam kalima. So after lam kalima there is no fa'il attached. You know fa'il and fa'il, the fa'il of always comes after the fa'il, so not before. So this ya, ta, a and na is the alamatu mudari'. So we need to know that, inshallah. And then we know that the fa'il can be marfu, mansub and majzoom. So here the alamatu marfu is damma, and then you have another category where which is noon aata hai and noon jata hai. So noon aata hai, noon jata hai, that means is afwalul khamsa, where noon represents a sign of marfu, and if when it is present, so we say فعل مضارع مرفوع بثبوت noon. So the presence of noon. And if the noon is not there, we'll say فعل منصوب بحذف noon. So if it is, noon is dropped. So يسكنان يسكنون تسكنان تسكنان تسكنون تسكنان. And then we have our mabni. So here it doesn't change into marfu, mansub or majzoom, and this noon is the fa'il. So this noon is the fa'il, and in here afwal khamsa, the fa'il is alif musanna, waw represent, if it is yaskununa, waw represents hum, if it is taskununa, waw represents antum. So these are the different ways we need to understand. So just do some practice again. So if I say huwa, you can say either yadrusu or yaskunu. So any fa'il you can bring. So huwa here will be taskunu or tadrusu. Anta is in front of you, anta. So it will be, again it will be taskunu. So depending on what the sentence is talking, so we will know which is the, which represents whom it is hiya or anta. Ana askunu, nahnu naskunu or nadrusu. So if this is antum in front of you, so if you people in front of you will say taskununa, taskununa. We have ta alamatu mudari' and waw represent antum. So this is hunna. Hunna will be yaskunna. Hunna, third person. So in front of you, antunna will be taskunna. So hunna will be yaskunna, antunna will be taskunna. Hum will be yaskununa. Waw represents hum. Hum yaskununa or yadrusuna, yaktubuna, whichever, you can take any file. So anti will be taskunina or tadrusina. Huma, they both. So telling third person huma, it will be yaskunani, ya and alif musanna. Alif is the fa'il. Antuma, you both in front of you, will be taskunani, taskunani. And they both female, again depending on the sentence it will be same, taskunani. And in front of you again it will be taskunani. So depending who are we talking about, whether two males in front of you or third person, two women or two women in front of us, depending on those our fa'il will change. So we have to understand, inshallah. So let's go to our main lesson. So we're doing ad-darsul hadiya ashra. So it is lesson number 11. Ahda ashra is 11, hadiya is ordinal number, so it is 11th lesson. So fil hafila, so it is a scene described by Dr. Abdul Rahim in a bus. So hafila means bus. So there are a group of people sitting in the bus and it's discussion between two persons. So let's bring the first. So al-awwalu, the first person says assalamu alaikum, and al-thani, the second person, he says wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So the second person says ismi abdullah. So what is ismi? Ismu is your mubtada, wa huwa mudaf, ya mutakallim, mudaf ilayhi. My name is, so what is your name? The abdu is your khabar, and Allah is your mudaf ilayhi, the word Allah. So ismi Abdullahi. So the second person is Abdullahi. Wa masmuka. So again, ma is particle of question, harf istifham, and because there is hamzatul wasl, that alif is not pronounced. So masmuka, what is your name? So the first person, he says ismi Faisalu. So Faisalun. Atalibun anta ya Abdullahi. So we know, actually, are you a student? Ya Abdullahi. So ya, when it comes, so Abdu will becomes Abda, because it is combination of mudaf ilayhi. So now we have two people here, Abdullahi and Faisal. So now Faisal, Abdullahi says, so Faisal is asking Abdullahi, Atalibun anta, are you a student? Ya Abdullah. So Abdullah says, Naam. So then Faisal asked, so Aina tadrusu. You see, tadrusu. What is tadrusu? Fa'ilun mudariun marfu'un bi damma. So it is marfu with the sign of damma. And aina fa'il, where is the fa'il? Is mustatir, because it is not attached to the fa'il. So we say mustatir. Taqdiruhu. So what is the estimation? Because he is in front of you, it is anta. Taqdiruhu anta. Aina tadrusu. So where do you study? So if it is past tense, aina darasta. Where did you study? So the translation is also very important. So where did you study and where do you study? So aina tadrusu ya akhi. Where do you study, O my brother? So now Abdullah says adrusu. So actually, so when I study. So again, fa'il mudari marfum bi damma. So I study bil Jamiyati Riyadh, in University of Riyadh. So for instance, fi ayyi kulliyatin tadrusu. So you know, ayyu comes as a special mudaf because there is harf jar fi, so it becomes fi ayyi. So in which, so when always after ayyu they will have mudaf ilahi, kulliyatin. Fi ayyi kulliyatin tadrusu. So again, tadrusu means in front of you, male, depending on the scenario. So in which university do you study? It says adrusu, I study. Again, fa'ilun mudari'un marfu'un bi damma. So it's marfu form. So in this lesson we'll be doing only marfu form. So we'll try to identify which is marfu and mansub. So adrusu fi kulliyatil handasata. So in faculty, kulliya means faculty, handasata means engineering. So muhandis is engineer, handasata is engineering. So in the faculty of engineering. So he asks again, Faisal, fi ayyi. So again we got ayyu, because of harf jar it becomes ayyi. Ayyi is ism majrur wa huwa mudaf, and sanatin. So sanatin is your mudaf ilahi. So in which year tadrusu, you study? So in which year do you study? Because the question, so we ask you, which year do you study? So Abdullah replies, adrusu, I study. Ana adrusu, I study fi sanati thaniya, in second year. I study in second year. So Faisal said, oh, ata'arifu anta, ata'ariful muhandisal Salmana. So again here what do we get? We got arafa ya'arifu. So it is bab, daraba yadribu. So ya'arifu, ta'arifu, ta'arifu, a'arifu, na'arifu. So ana a'arifu, anta ta'arifu. So this a is harfu istifham, ta'arifu. Do you know? Arafa, he knew, and ya'arifu, he knows. So it's in, do you know? Al-muhandisa. Al-muhandisa is your maf'ulun bihi mansub. Salmana is your badal. So, do you know the engineer Salman? Abdullah says Tab'an. So, what is Tab'an? Tab'an means definitely. So, when you have to confirm something, you say Tab'an. Yes, of course. Huwa Ustazi. He is my teacher. Huwa Ahsanu mudarrisin. So what is ahsanu here? Because there is no min, so it is a ismu tafdeel, it is a superlative. He is the best teacher. Fi kulliyatin, in the department. So he is the best teacher in the department. For instance, Man haula'il fityatul ladhina ma'aka. So who are these young boys with you? Those are with you. So ka'annahum. So ka'annahum is, it is as though. Ka'anna, we know, min akhwatu inna. Inna, anna, ka'anna, laysa, layta, lakinna, la'alla. So ka'anna min akhwatu inna. So we know it has a ism and khabar. Ism is mansoob and khabar is marfu. So hum is here ismu anna and ikhwatuka. So ikhwatu is your khabar wa huwa mudaf and ka is mudaf ilayhi. This is man haula'il fityatu. Who are these young men? Those are with you. So we know alladhina ismu mawsula is always comes with silatul mawsul. So ma'aka is your silatul mawsul. Ka'annahum, it is as if they are ikhwatuka, your brothers. Ikhwatu, that is your khabar of ismu ka'anna. So Abdullah says, Naam, haula'i ikhwati. These are my brothers. Ikhwatu, wahuwa is your khabar, wahuwa mudaf and ya mutakallim mudaf alayhi. These are my brothers. So li arba'atu ikhwatin wa thalathu akhawatin. So li is your jar majur. So we know I have, in for relations we use li, and if it is any objects we say indi. So here it is relation he's telling arba'atu. So we know why it is arba'atu, because the ma'dud is muzakkar. So we have adad, muannas. So with li I have 4 brothers and wa thalathu. It is the ma'dud, adad is muzakkar, because ma'dud is muannas. So I have 3 sisters, akhawatin, and 4 brothers. Going again, Faisal says, Aina yadrusu haula'i. So where do they study? So see, yadrusu fa'ilun mudari marfu'u bidamma. So how here we need to say where is the fa'il. So we know in huwa and hiya form the fa'il is mustatir, but it can be mawjood in the sentence or ghaib. So in other situations where it is anta, ana, nahnu, so then the fa'il is always mustatir, but huwa and hiya, so we have to look. So here, what is the fa'il? Fa'il is ha'ula'i, these. So how do you translate? So we know the fa'il comes first and then the fa'il. Where do these study? So we know whenever the fa'il comes, it has to come after the fa'il. So Abdullah says, Amma ikhwati. So we have to know what is this amma. Yes, amma is starting with hamzatul qata. So we have learned before, amma with ayn is about what, an plus ma. So what is this amma? Amma here means as for. It is a particle of condition. So we're going to do the conditional sentence in book 3. It's just a very brief, like an introduction. So amma is like a particle of condition. So what's the speciality of amma is that after amma we always have a mubtada and we will have khabar. So after amma you are always, and it is for when you're mentioning about more than 2 things or more than 1 thing. So amma as for something and as for something, so you're gonna continue the sentence. So that after amma we'll always have mubtada and khabar. And what's the speciality of the khabar here is that it always comes with fa. So whenever you have amma, so the khabar begins with fa. So if you see here, أما إخوتي. إخوة is مبتدأ وهو مضاف إن يا متكلم is مضاف إليه. As for my brothers فكلهم. See, fa is coming because of amma, and it comes with attaches with the khabar. So كلهم, all of them, يدرسون بالجامعة. So that's the introduction to amma today. So we're going to forward. So first is أين يدرس هؤلاء. Then we have a big answer here. So أما إخوتي. So أما, as for my brothers, فكلهم. Fa is coming as a because of أما attached to the khabar. So كلهم يدرسون بالجامعة. So all of them, they study. So wow represents whom? بالجامعة. Isa. So he is telling now, he's giving more explanation about all of them, all of his brothers. إخوتي. Isa وهو أكبر مني, and he is bigger than me. So يدرسون is the file and أكبر مني. So اسم تفضيل, here it is comparative because it's coming with min. So he is bigger than me. مني. يدرس في كلية الطب. So يدرس فعل مضارع مرفوع بضمة. Here فاعل مستتر تقديره هو يدل على عيسى. That is how you explain. في كلية الطب, in faculty of medicine. وإبراهيم, and Ibrahim يدرس, he studies في كلية التجارة. وإسحاق, and إسحاق he studies يدرس في كلية الآداب. آداب means arts. في كلية التجارة means commerce. So Ibrahim studies in commerce, and Ishaq he studies in arts. وإسماعيل, and Ismail يدرس, and he studies في كلية العلوم. كلية العلوم means science, department of science. وهؤلاء ثلاثة, and these three. So we know هؤلاء after ismu ishara, it is badal, so it is badal. How do we say? These three. هؤلاء ثلاثة أصغر مني, they are smaller than me. صغير, smaller. أصغر مني is smaller than me. وأما, so again we got أما. وأما الأخوات. So what is the mubtada here after amma is أخوات is your mubtada. فيدرسن. So fa comes because of amma, and يدرسن is your khabar. So it's jumlatul fa'iliya. Here يدرسن means they all study. hunna. So file is noon is the file here. يدرسن في المدرسة المتوسطة. So now he describes all the sisters here. So they all study in middle school. Mutawassitati means middle, comes from the word wasata, middle. So Zainabu tadrusu. See here tadrusu is not anta, it is here. So depending on where it is coming. So talking about Zainab. So this tadrusu is. So how do we describe? فعل مضارع مرفوع بضمة فاعل مستتر تقديره هي في السنة الأولى, in first year. وسلمى تدرس في السنة الثانية. So Salma, she studies. So she studies, or she is studying. You can say she studies in second. وَلَيْلَ تدرس, and Layla studies في السنة الثالثة. So in third year. So this was the introduction to his brothers and to his sisters. So inshallah this brings us to end of this session today. So with the lesson number 11 still continues. So inshallah we're going to finish in our next session with some new concepts. So today we should the lesson is to identify what type of fa'al and fa'il, how to identify how to identify the marfu form of the file, and we learned about amma. So that brings our end of the session, inshallah, and we'll continue in our next class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.